Okay. Virginia Hinch, District 8 City Councilor. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, we're so glad to have you because we didn't have much time last time.
Yes.
And you were such a professional about that. We were setting up and you were such a professional about it.
Okay.
So we wanted to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
100.
Yeah.
All right. So, District 8 City Councilor.
Yes.
It hasn't even been a full year yet.
6 months. 6 months. But it feels like a full year.
So how is that though? What's the day-to-day like over there?
Day-to-day is, lots and lots of meetings, lots and lots of readings, especially when it comes to council. You get that big council package. We got our council package yesterday. So a lot of reading. I got a lot of reading over the weekend to do for Tuesday. So yeah, and then there's a lot of, what I want to say is, a lot of concerns in our community with regards to safety, with regards to, if you don't see all the construction that's going on, then, it's crazy how you can't even walk a block and it's either cut off or anything. It's crazy how the construction is going on in our city right now.
There is a lot of construction here. Our team was speaking to Lindell earlier.
Yes.
I guess with your predecessor, the predecessor, we
Yes.
discussed that before. And we kind of spoke about it last time, but I just want to hammer it in and just trying to get like a final thing about it. How can we make sure that the descendants that have been living here for hundreds of years actually get a piece of this? Is there something that we can put in place to make sure that we have something included into this with all the buildings and everything going up?
As you know, every time that they talk about diversity and inclusion, making sure African and Nova Scotians are part of the conversation, all I hear is, let's put a mural or let's do this. And I'm like, I'm tired of that. We need to do more. We need to help to do more, to build wealth, economic wealth for us. And again, we need to all come together and understand that, we can do it and it can be done, but we just need to figure a way to work together. And I mean the African Nova Scotian community. So if we can come with a solid plan, I believe that we can actually have land, have prosperity. I believe these things can happen. Others are doing it, so.
If you look at what happened with Beachville ended up getting some land and are able to do.
Yes.
So you're talking something like that?
The community land trust, yes. I am talking about that. And, we've been looking at the community land trusts for many, many years, but it's always, well, I want to say they probably look at more of like Beachville, Hammond's Plains, and it's actually Hammond's Plains.
Okay.
Yes. So, and the Preston Township, all those areas. But there's also us within, District 8 in this community here. Like, we need to build our own wealth as well. Because, again, we were displaced from Africville, most of us. And, again, they just thought that, we'll give them Uniacke Square, we'll give them Mulgrave Park, and they'll accept that. But, we haven't accepted it, really. But we have in another way, because, again, it was my home. I grew up in Uniacke Square. I was born and raised there. But still, there is so much that we could probably be doing to generate wealth, to generate home ownership. There's so much. I discussed it previously, like some people, they find it hard to try to get a mortgage because, it's very difficult for us. So, rent to own, these are options that we could be looking at because there's families that really don't even need to be in Uniacke Square. But again, where are they going to go? They can't get a mortgage. So we need to make it easier. We need to find ways. We need to build wealth. We need to do these things before it's too late. And it's generational. So again, it got to stop. They got to stop.
So when you, even, because you worked with housing for many years,
For many years, yeah.
so you've seen how all that was going. Is it even possible, like what's with housing now? I know you're not there anymore, but for someone that ancestry comes from Africville and they were born in Uniacke Square and then they, you know, got older and moved out, realizing now they're paying, you know, $2,000 in rent, want to come back home in Uniacke Square. Is that possible for them to even come back and get an apartment there?
It's very difficult at this point in time. And I say this because I've been told numerous times that there was promises made, but those folks that made those promises are no longer there. It's a whole different ballgame. There's probably documents somewhere, but we don't know where those documents are, and they don't reflect. I've seen 1 or 2 documents that just don't reflect to say that, you know, this is yours, you can't be displaced or anything of that nature. So yeah, that ship has sailed.
Because I was reading, I was doing a research project on Africville, and I remember even Don Claremont did something with that. There was like a huge, there was a few things with that. It was kind of almost guaranteed that you can have that for life. But you're saying those, and they changed the name of the
Nova Scotia Provincial Housing Agency.
What was up with
So
that?
they changed the name a few times. So Metro Housing, Metro Regional Housing Authority. No, soon when the province took it over, because again, the city used to own housing. And once the province took it over, everything changed.
All right. So, if you want to talk about it, if you don't, I want to ask what's going on with St. Pat's School, because that I know that is like the ire of everyone in the community. There's so much people that have went to school there, people who have taught there, and they're just seeing it. And if you go by there now, it's kind of like that's the new shoot up spot, like the new drug spot.
It is.
So what's going on? What's going on with St. Pat's? What's popping?
So I can't say very much because it's with the courts right now. So I will say that with regards to, you know, the buyback agreement. We want to buy it back. We do. The city, that is. So I would say hopefully that happens. But for now, you know, with regards to the drug situation, people shooting up down there, where else do they got to go? Like, they find these vacant buildings, they find these vacant lots, and then there's probably about 3 or 4 small fires that have been there since within the past couple of months since I've been in council. So I know that developer, I believe it's Juno. I believe that he did state that he's getting ready to tear the building down. So has it started yet? No. I could say more.
We don't want to get you. We don't. No, if it's true.
Well, you know what? For his measly little piece that he put up, because he's trying to say that he's in the buyback agreement right now because he started the build, but he didn't tear down the school or anything. He just put this measly little piece of over by the park, and he thinks, you know, okay, he's as of right, but he's not. I will say that.
And I say that because I've seen you, like, you've worked in the building right across there with the pharmacy. I've always seen you put our community on. Like, that's one thing I could say. Wherever you were, wherever that you were on, wherever you were at, you always put somebody from the community on.
Yeah.
How does that still work with what you're doing now with the city?
It is, and I'm trying to, you know, like, so the thing is that, you know, when I asked for this job, and I'm glad that I have it, and I'm glad I'm in a position to try to help folks and try to do right by our community. But, you know, people have told me not time and time again, you have a whole community, so I have to serve, you know, over close to 25,000 in this area alone for my district. So, but at the end of the day, I know who I am. And I know the reason why I took this job. And I want to support and help serve my community. and that includes my Black community. So that, I want to do whatever I can. So if I can support in any way, I'm going to do that.
And even with that, because you've had a lot of barriers that you had to overcome, and it's something we didn't have a chance to speak about it last time, but you were talking even earlier about the readings and things like that. You do have a disability.
So I do have what's called retinitis pigmentosa. So it's a vision impairment, and I was diagnosed probably, it's over 20 some odd years ago that I've been diagnosed. Normally, most people, they go legally fully blind with this disease. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I pray over my eyes. So, and I asked him to let me see well into my 80s. I do have some limitations, and I realize that I do have limitations. I do have a cane that I use from time to time. Just depends on where I'm at. Like normally, if I didn't have you to guide me today, I would be pretty nervous with all this equipment and everything around. Or if I'm in a crowded place, I would be a little bit nervous. So I'd probably use the cane then. But it's not a full visual cane, it's just a support cane. And how I explain it is that you see this much, I see that much. So it's the peripheral. So can't see here, can't see here, can't see here, can't see here. And I have to tell folks that because, again, when you put your hand out to shake, I normally don't see your hand down here. And that gets me into trouble a lot.
People think you're rude.
Yes. It gets me into so much trouble.
People just looking like, yeah, she's not going to shake by it. What kind of politician is this? She's shaking
Exactly. So I tried to be the first to put my hand out, but sometimes I totally forget. And it happened a couple times this week. So, grumpy old men talking about. So grumpy old men, I'm sorry,
I can't see.
I didn't see it. I did not see your hand.
So you're not rude, you just didn't see the hand.
Listen, when people drive by on the street and they're bumping their horns and everything, like if you're going zoom, I'm like, I'm not getting that.
And we do that here in Scotia.
Yeah. So with that, I just put my hand up and say hi. I don't know who you are, but I'll just wave and say hi. So yeah.
So how does that affect like your job and how you perform that all the time, every day?
So I would say down with City Hall has been great at supporting me and with my vision impairment and everything. They've given me tools, probably on my screens are probably a little bit bigger. The font's probably a little bit bigger, things of that nature. I just asked them to let me ask for help and not assume that I need help. Because again, like I can still see, I can see you right here. I just can't see there and up here. So, and a lot of folks, they think they need to be right beside me all the time. And then that makes me bump into other things. Do you understand?
100%.
Yeah. So normally, like, when I use the cane, I hate using the cane, I'll be honest with you. I'm not ready for the cane fully. Because again, I can see.
You don't look like you need a cane, like just by look. Yeah,
exactly.
No cane yet. You good.
So yeah, like, and if I'm walking by myself, it's perfect because I know my limitations to where I'm going, where I'm stepping, and everything like that. I'm making sure sometimes I miss somebody when they're coming this way, and I'm walking across the street and they're trying to walk across the street there. They're zoom. I was like, oh damn it. Or the new cars, the new vehicles, the e-vehicles. I never hear them coming. Never. And normally me and them are right up on each other.
Well, so I do want to ask, because the federal election just happened a few months ago, and I know your city so there's no party affiliation with that. But were you campaigning or helping anybody in particular, or you just stayed neutral with that?
I
I'm getting you in trouble today. That was my job, inviting you on today. Virginia in trouble. Last time it was a quick interview. I'm like, let me get in trouble this time.
I stayed neutral.
Stay neutral.
I did.
Okay.
And I did it for a reason, but I stayed neutral.
Should I ask that reason of why you stayed neutral?
No.
No. Was it because, hypothetically, is there any, because you're doing a good job here and people are enjoying having you as a city councillor,
Yeah.
to see that you're working. Is there another step? Is there ambition federally?
Oh, no.
There's no ambition for that.
No. You know what my ambition is?
Please tell me.
My ambition is to bring other folks up, bring other people, the young people up, to let them experience politics, to let them to, we need our young folks. We do.
You know, it's interesting because I don't think you hit that elder stage yet, but that's something that I think a lot of, back in 2018, they always have a theme for African Heritage Month, and I think it was 2017 or 18, they had Passing the Torch. There's a lot of younger people in Nova Scotia, and I've seen this the last 15 years, that the older generation just hold on to these titles. And they are not they're just gatekeeping them, and they're not letting the youth come into these titles. All different Black organizations, the politics. What's up with that?
I've yet to understand it. And the thing is that and when I thought about running for council, this was back in like 2016 when I first thought about this. And then I decided to pass the torch and back Lindell. So it was me, Lindell, and other folks or whatever. But and I understood what the time was and how it was. And me and him had an honest conversation that he was only going to do 2 terms, and he kept his word. He did his 2 terms. The second term that he ran for, I did run against him, only because to get my name out there. So, I mean, it was COVID. I knew it was a long shot. So it was, and again, if I didn't put my name in there, he probably just would have had a landslide of a win, to be honest with you. But again, I did it strategically to put my name out there for 2024. And we see what happened in 2024.
You did some stomping in 2024.
Yes.
It wasn't, people say it was close. I didn't think it was close. There was 25,000 people in the riding, in the district. I think how many voted? Maybe 5,000 or something?
If that, yeah. Probably about 5,000, 6,000 people voted. Yeah.
And I think you came first with, I think, a 500 lead vote at minimum, was it?
I think it was about 600 lead vote, but yeah.
So you, even with the visual issues, you were out there, you were stomping, you were campaigning, you were knocking doors.
And I had a good core of people that, I met for the first time. One person that worked with me, Evan Carroll, he was my official agent. My friend Renee, I had to beg her to be the manager, to be my manager and everything. It all came together, and it was a small but mighty group that I had. And because again, we still have a ways to go when it comes to supporting women, Black people in general. It's very difficult. Because again, and I still did it with a very low budget as well. So, and they kept telling me, you know what, you need to stop working and focus on the campaign. I worked and I campaigned.
That was with housing?
Yes. So, because housing's provincial, so I didn't need to leave the job because it's a municipal government. So I worked and I campaigned.
Because you were saying before, I was asking if there's anything you wanted to go federal or this or that, and you're like, no, your priority is the youth. Your priority is making sure that the youth are good.
Well, no, my priority is making sure that they get the opportunity to experience what it is to be in government. So there's a fellowship program that we're hoping to start. It's nothing that's concrete yet because it still needs to get approved and everything. So I'm giving you an exclusive right now.
I'll take it.
So there's a fellowship out in Vancouver right now, and they're probably in Toronto, Ontario, whereas we have African, I'm going to say African Nova Scotia, but you know, black community kids, teenagers. They get to experience the levels of government. The municipality hopefully will take some kids on. So the fellowship, they put in $25,000, and then the municipality will put in another $25,000, or if not more, to top it off for these kids to get paid, work within the government, to see what it is like being in the municipality. And we're looking at the marginalized areas and things that would never normally get a chance to do this. So this is what we want to do. And I'm hoping that it does come to fruition. It's going to be sometime next year. We want to make sure that we get it right, and we want to make sure that we get these kids in there so that they can experience the levels of government, how it works, and how they see themselves being in that space.
In terms of what would you recommend for them to do, rather if it's education-wise, work-wise? What's an industry that you're looking at and saying, I really want our young African Nova Scotians to get into this and to do this?
Well, you know what? Definitely education-wise, I would like to see more things aligned. Not even that. I would like to also see, even if us as a community could come together and do something to teach all three levels of government and show them what it means to be there, and some type of course or something, or some type of, you know, conference, anything that's possible that we could possibly do to engage our children, to engage our young folks. That's what we need to do. When it comes to, what was I going to say? I had a thought in my head and it totally went out my head.
That was my fault. I did that to you on purpose. And the reason I was asking is, I remember I met when your son was working at the drugstore. He was in school at the time.
Yep.
And he was taking some interesting stuff. Even though I was like, whoa, what was it? It was some kind of computer program, but a specialized computer program, was it?
Well, he's a graphic designer now.
That's what it was.
So yeah.
Proud of him, aren't you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He's been with the province for, I have to say, about nine years now. So, you know, he's doing well for himself, and I pat myself on the back for that. Because I remember there was times when, times when me and him were, and I helped him out. Like, there was times when he had certain projects that he had to do. I remember us being out in the wintertime over taking pictures of different types of graphics of cars and the lights of the cars and whatnot. I'm like, I'm really helping this child do this in the wintertime.
In Scotian winter.
In Scotian winter. Up on big hills and things. I'm like, what am I doing here? But anyways, I'm proud of him, and he's doing good, so yeah. But he would never want to be a politician, unfortunately. But I took him to vote each and every time, and he's an avid voter, so he votes.
Did he vote for you?
Of course he did. Of course he did. And that's the other thing I want to say. Like, the parents need to, you know, they need to help out as well. They need to take their kids out to show them what it is to vote and what's their rights. You know, they have a right to vote. They have a say in how the government is run. And I know we feel like that we don't have that, or I know people feel like they don't have that say, But again, I get emails every time. I voted for you. I want this. I voted for you. You need to do this. I voted for you. And I'm like, well, I can only do what I can do. But
Do you find those emails are coming from our community, like in the African Nova Scotia community?
no.
So it's people outside of the African Nova Scotia
Yes.
community message you saying, I voted for you, I want this, this, and that.
Yes. Now, did they really vote for me? I don't know.
Wow. So we need to be more up emailing you, calling you.
Well, folks, and I say, when I talk to the African Nova Scotian communities, they're like, why bother?
Do you think that's just because of the history here, and there's just been broken promises made,
Of course.
promises not kept,
Yes.
and it's just like my vote don't matter, nothing. It doesn't. No matter what I ask for, I ain't gonna get it anyways.
Exactly.
So I'm just gonna struggle on my own and do my own thing.
Yeah.
What can break that chain? What's gonna be the catalyst to be like the new generation? Like, we're not gonna do that anymore. We're gonna ask for something and get it.
I think we have to be strategic and forceful in doing so. We have to really, really break the chain. We have to break the chain. And I say that because every time that you say, they don't care, it doesn't matter, my vote don't count, your vote does count, but you have to vote. And that's the only way. Because if you don't vote, then of course you're going to feel like nothing's happening, or you feel like you're not being heard or anything. Because again, you already have it in your mindset that, okay, I didn't vote, so they're not going to hear me anyways, even if I did vote, but you don't really know that. And then the other thing is that, right now, we're still, Black people, we're still the lowest percentage of people in government. Like when it comes to, we're the lowest percentage. You may have one or two here. But again, we don't know how long that's gonna last. I say for the municipality, yeah, you got 2 Black people there, but we don't know how long that's gonna last. But that's why we gotta build people up and tell them to step forward. And that's probably the reason why there are so many are people that are lingering on and staying on, and because they're afraid that, they're not gonna have the voice.
I hear that, and I'm not countering that. What I'm saying is I'm seeing this new young generation out here, and they're live. They're ready for it.
They're doing podcasts. They're doing all these things.
No, but they on it though.
Yes, they are. They are, for sure. But I need them to be more on it. I need them to step up.
Okay. Well, you're doing the fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
How can people, by the time this airs, how can people get in touch with you for that, to be part of that fellowship?
So we're still trying to work out the details on that, and I'm working out with Rodney Small, and so he's part of it as well. So we're still working out on the details and everything of that nature. But once we have it all figured out, then we'll be reaching out to folks as well. We're trying to find an organization that we can really put it through, whether it's through Delmore Buddy Day or something of that nature. So hopefully, and not putting them on the, because we haven't even discussed it with them yet. But they were the one organization that came to mind, because they're community, they're local, and so yeah. Hopefully we can get them on.
What is your one, I want to say pet project, but what's one thing that you want to accomplish in City Hall? If there was one thing that you were like, I want to get this thing done before I leave City Hall.
You know what? I kept saying to myself, what will my legacy be, and what would I want to achieve? And it kept going from different things. So I was like, okay, I want to get Bloomfield down. I want to buy Bloomfield back. Bloomfield is down, gone, period. Hopefully St. Pat's, go. Because again, St. Pat's is my legacy. St. Pat's is my son's legacy. I would love to see something community-wise go back into there, and not 30, 40-story buildings that are overpriced next to Uniacke Square. Doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. So the fellowship, to be honest with you, if that goes the way that I hope it goes, I think that would be probably my legacy. That's what I would like to see. That fellowship come to fruition, and that we have our young folks in the government.
You want to give your contact info out to anybody right now?
My contact info?
Like your email, like
Okay.
your city email.
So my city email is virginia.hinch@halifax.ca. My phone number is 902-237-8373. If you want to contact me, please do so.
Okay, nice. Is there anything else that we may have missed that you think is important you wanted to say before we wrap up?
I think we pretty much covered everything, but again, my plan is to serve 2 terms. This is my plan, and then I'm hoping that somebody is going to be ready to step in, and I'm going to support whoever that may be. But again, it can't stop at me. It can't stop at my other partner, John Young, who's out in the, where's he at? Never mind, forget that. So John Young, because we're the only 2 black people that are on city council right now. And again,
District 14.
District 14, yes.
Sackville, yeah.
Sackville, yes. So,
Hold on, District 14, hang on. He's from Sackville originally. And I believe, is that HP? I'll have to look it up.
but Hammond's Plains is part of his portfolio.
That's right. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I get it, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So it just can't be you 2.
And again, no, it just can't be. Like I said, in the last go around, again, it was Lindell and it was Iona's daughter. So, I mean, but it could have easily went another way, to be honest with you. It could have been just John or just me, to be honest with you. Because it's not like he took Iona's spot, because another woman, Janet Steele, took her spot, unfortunately. But we need more. And you know what? And I always thought about it, and I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but to maybe have an African Nova Scotian seat in the municipality where we will always be represented. So that thing has come into my mind as well. So,
That's neat.
yeah.
They used to have one for the school boards.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So someone that's always there for the African Nova Scotian seat, that's going to represent widely in the city, HRM.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing idea.
Mm-hmm.
Would you come back for that one?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
You're standing true with this passing the torch thing.
I'm standing true with passing the torch thing. You know what? I'm happy where I'm at right now, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now. But, you know, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and we always struggled in that part too as well, to really put our foot out there to figure out, you know, can we really own our own business and have a successful business? I mean, my head is I still want to have a successful business. My goddaughter over here, we've talked quite a few times about different things that we would like to do. I'm hoping after my 2 years, I'm going to start my business. And you know what? I'm going to put something else out there as well, because again, this has been on my mind for years. Like, how can we teach our children to know about the levels of government from an early age so they can make the informed decision? So, you know, I'm going to put it out there, because then I'll do it. But I want to do a children's book. on the levels of government, the ABCs of politics.
Wow.
So,
All right. Virginia Hinch, District 8 City Councilor, soon to be author.
oh, yes.
Thanks for
Yes.
joining Real Talk Season 2.
Thank you.
We'll have you next season.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
Hopefully I'll have a book in hand. Well, no, not that quick. But anyways.
Thanks a lot, Sue.
Thank you.